Good evening. It got all quiet up in here. So I want to welcome you all to the wonderful Castle Museum for our next segment of the Breaking Bread Village. So thank you. We want to thank Jared for the music. We want to thank Tom for the food. And also, we are so thankful for you who joined us tonight. We're going to get started with the show here. And I want to encourage everyone, if you haven't eaten something, please do. There's lots of food, and we want you to enjoy it, okay? So we want you to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And silence phones, please, 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 because we are recording. And yes, before we start. And now we're going to introduce our panel. Okay, we're going to have Yvonne come on out to the table. Annette. Ron.
Okay, I'm gonna run in right here.
Carlos. Dallas. Josh. And last but not least, our host, Aaron.
Hold on. You guys have a seat. You guys sit down, sit down. Everybody get comfortable. Awesome. Just so you guys know, we have water here for you, so take it off and use it if you need some. And mints are here as well. Thank you everybody for being here today. I really appreciate it. I feel like, can y'all shift a little bit more so we can like talk to each other? We're used to, we sometimes we have like 100 people and everybody's so spread out, but now, you know, we're an intimate group here today, which is great. So let's talk to each other. Y'all okay with that? A little forced intimacy here. Thank you. I mean, if you don't want to get up, you don't have to, but thank you. All right. So we are going to get started today. I appreciate you all for coming tonight. This is stop 3 of our tour, and we're really excited about this particular conversation. So I'm going to do some opening remarks really quick, and then we'll get started with the panel. So tonight we're diving into a conversation that doesn't always get enough attention. What happens when the game ends? Whether someone has played in high school, college, professionally, or recreationally, sports often become more than just an activity. They become an identity, a structure, a source of pride, and sometimes even a purpose. But what happens when that part of life is over? Tonight, we're sitting down to talk about transition, identity loss, depression, grief, and rediscovery. We want to explore the emotional weight of walking away from something that once defined you and what it takes to find meaning beyond the jersey. We hope this conversation sparks understanding, compassion, and deeper awareness, whether you're an athlete, a parent, a coach, or simply someone who's experienced a major shift in life. So let's go ahead and start this conversation. A lot of people ask the question, like, wonder if I never played sports, does this apply to me? And yes, it does. We all have shifts in life, and we want to talk about when that shift happens, how does it work? And I'll give you guys a quick backstory. The reason why I want to have this conversation is because I have 3 children, well, 4 altogether, but 3 that play sports. 2 of them went college and played in college. And with my one son, when it stopped, he just didn't know what to do with himself. It was really hard for him to really kind of acclimate to life without that attention, that thrill, you know. And so I watched him kind of go through these ups and down periods in life, still struggling. With my oldest son, his ended early. He had an injury. He wanted to go play overseas, and that got taken away from him. But he was able to pivot as far as I could tell. But my other son, he really struggled with that. So I really want to have this conversation because I don't think we talk about it. I mean, as a parent, watching my kids play basically their whole life since they were like, you know, young, super, super young. We don't talk about what happens when that's over. So that's why we're here. So I'm happy that you all are able to come here and have this conversation with us. So I want to ask you, I mean, has anybody, we'll just start with this, we're going to get really transparent. Has anybody dealt with that, right? I mean, you guys all played on different levels, and then some of you all have family members that played. Did you experience that when it was kind of over? I know some of you guys are still in that profession, but when that, you know, when the lights went off, so to speak, you know, Did you all deal with that kind of depression or trying to rediscover yourself when life shifted? Anybody can talk. Yes. So tell me what that was like.
Well, it was pretty tough. So for myself, I played football at Wayne State University. And when I got injured and I knew it was over with, I had a tough conversation with myself. My grandmother was a praying woman, and so she just made sure that I stayed prayed up, but at the same time, I was depressed. It was tough for me to kind of find my way the first week or two when they finally said I couldn't play anymore. So I blew out my knee, my ACL, PCL, LCL all at the same time. One play. And so ever since then, I've been trying to find myself, and luckily I had good enough professors that allowed me to kind of be creative. Public speaking class, I had a great time. And the interesting thing about it is that once I blew my knee out, 2 weeks later, I was actually given a scholarship to be on the debate team at Wayne State University. So my debate scholarship was 4 times as much as my football scholarship was. And because of that, it led me to go to law school, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah.
Awesome. And you coach to this day. So.
Yes, I still coach now.
Matter of fact, he coached one of my boys. So, yeah. Okay. Anybody else went through that transition, that shift?
Yes, I did. I played basketball at Saginaw Valley, and I think similarly, I had an injury, but the injury was it was a long-lasting injury. I was diagnosed with arthritis in my knees when I was like 20 years old, and so I saw the end coming, but it was this slow process. And then I can remember the last game that I played. I knew it was going to be our last game, so I think I spent about 2 hours in my jersey after the game refusing to take it off because I knew my identity was going to shift instantly. And it's eerily similar. I had some professors who just really helped me through that, and obviously a supportive family that kind of helped me understand that I'm not a basketball player, that I'm something else. But it took other people to help me through that.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else want to add to that?
So I'm not like the athlete on the panel. I mean, I ran track like 1 year. I'm a trained dancer, but when you spoke about just transition, about grief, so I lost my husband December of last year, buried him January of this year. We were married for 14 years, and so my identity as a wife now is, because when I looked at that death certificate and it said this marriage has ended by death, I was like, I'm no longer a wife. And so I've got that piece. We have a 13-year-old son. And so now I am going through probably one of the biggest transitions in my life, just, navigating what it's going to look like. I've been in radio over 30 years. I love what I do, but I have come to the conclusion that may be something that shifts now, with just location and what's going to come with that. And one of the ways that I've really been able to just kind of navigate, what's helping me navigate is to be thankful, to be even thankful, first of all, that I had my husband for 14 years, that he was in our son's life for 13 years. And I think that gratitude is step one. It has been step one for me, and it's just been very, very powerful. So. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. I want to ask, did you want to add anything, Dallas?
Sure. Similarly, so I played volleyball all through high school. I ran track, was pretty successful, still hold a record at Dow High. But I walked on SVSU to the volleyball team, and no issues there. Played recreationally in a women's league around home, and tore my left ACL probably close to 20 years ago, recovered, lengthy surgery, but then only about 4 years ago, I tore my other one, again, playing volleyball. And that was when I realized I just needed to be done. And it didn't feel the same. I didn't recover the same. It's just very different, 20 years span difference in those injuries. And I think, it's ACLs are really tough. And I still don't know. I still haven't found that next thing for me that was my time, my thing, and that way to, be that self-care. And to honestly, it was taking out aggression. Like, that was a way I could just get everything out. I could leave it all on the court and then walk away, and I just felt so much better. So I'm still looking for that outlet. So that's kind of what I'm dealing with still to this day.
Yeah. I'm curious. Do you feel like who you were with sports is different than who you are now? Like your identity? Do you feel like there was a difference and kind of how you were presented? Because I know, when we were in high school, when the athletes got called out for the game, they walked out, everybody was so proud of them. The girls like to see the guys go out, right? And they'd have their jerseys on or their little nice shirt, right? And so once that recognition is gone, how do you process, right? So do you feel like there was a difference when who you were at that time than who you are now?
I would say, sports teach you a lot. And for me, it helps you be confident. It helps you grow. It teaches you a lot of life lessons. So for me today, I try to take that same confidence that I had with playing sports and apply it to my everyday life and everything that I do.
Okay. So you feel like you're kind of on the same kind of wavelength path?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, you don't receive the same recognition as you did, when you're playing sports, but it's that confidence, that swagger, so to say, that you have about approaching things in life.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. And sometimes it's interesting how different it is, because sometimes people associate that with the whole group, right? It's like this family unit, and we all are this together. And then individually, without be able to say, I'm SVSU basketball player, right? Who am I individually, right? So Annette, do you have anything to add to that? Do you feel like there was any differences?
See, I'm homegrown Saginaw. I've been over the world 9 times 10 and back again, but I love Saginaw, and I think now it's because I know, like, people know me. I feel safe just being me, in Saginaw. And growing up, like going to Saginaw High, Michigan State, my stats, my accolades, all that, I was never able to like embrace them, because I had a mother that was like, nobody cares about how many rebounds you got. Nobody cares about your points. Nobody cares about. I was so green. Like, when I was the number 1 player in the nation, I didn't get Miss Basketball. That's okay, because my mother was always like, you're alive. You're able to do this. You're able to do that. And in the city of Saginaw, after I had my kids play basketball, and now what I live with, that's Draymond's auntie. Like, no, I'm better than Draymond. So that's who I am now. I'm Draymond.
Yeah. Okay, no, I feel that. Anybody else want to add to that? No difference? Okay. All right. So, what do you feel when the game did end, right? Because some of you all are in it maybe still some other ways, or you're watching it through your kids or whatever it is. But how do you feel like your identity shifted? Do you feel like that happened at all? Do you feel like you had to kind of reevaluate who you were, what your purpose was, where you were going? I know some people will do public speaking, right? If you were a former athlete, sometimes people have you come and speak to, children or at schools. But if that just stops cold turkey, who are you, right? Did you struggle with that at all, like finding out purpose or kind of like a goal or where you want to go in life once that ended?
Yeah. I did. I remember when I came back home from Pittsburgh, because I played professionally for 3 years, and when I got back home, I just kind of took some time to myself and just thought about what I wanted to do, what type of skills that I really have, because football was over. And that's all I've ever known,
right,
pretty much for the most of my life. So I really had to assess, like, what do I want to do and what type of skill sets do I have, because I had a degree in criminal justice, but I didn't know nothing about that really, So it took me some time, took me a few months to figure out, like, what do I want to do? And I remember applying to a job at like a youth center, and they were paying minimum wage, and I looked at the contract and I was like, man, I'm about to be working for free. Coming from what I was used to, I was like, okay. And that was a hard pill for me to swallow.
Yeah,
So
and for people that don't know, how far did you go into sports?
Yeah, so
your sports career.
Yeah, so I played professionally for 3 years with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Had the opportunity to win the Super Bowl within my rookie year. So yeah, I had a very successful career in sports. But yeah, that was the realization that I had to come to, that, okay, all that, what was over there is over with. So you're going to have to really redefine who you are and figure out what you want to do moving forward.
Yeah.
So,
And you said it took you a couple months.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Because some people go years. Because, okay, Josh, can you add to that? I mean, I know I don't know if you experienced it or not, but you work with people who have. What does it look like?
Yeah, so this is, identity in sport is a significant issue. So in my job now, I work at SVSU, I'm a professor at SVSU, and some of my background is in sports psychology. So over the last 3 years, I've been working with professional, college, high school athletes, and one of the biggest issues that I see is they attach their identity to the sport that they play. So one of the first conversations that I have with athletes is, like, I will never refer to you as you're a basketball player or you're a football player. Nope, you are a kind, smart, competitive, resilient kid that plays basketball. And so we really have to shift that identity, because what ends up happening is athletes can get so caught up in the outcome, right? The stats, the wins, and the reality is they have no control over that, or very little control, right? And so when they fail, then if their identity is in that sport, when they fail, their self-esteem goes down. And missing a jump shot in basketball should never impact your self-esteem. Everyone misses a jump shot.
We don't help with that, right? Because I know I'm loud and say, we don't help with that.
So I really do. And I will also tell you, as a parent of 3 athletes, one who's a college athlete right now, I mean, we have to have conversations a lot about identity in sport, because he doesn't necessarily do a great job yet of separating his identity from the game of basketball. So, yeah, it's a major challenge.
I mean, do you all think that it's from my own personal experience, do you think the family impacts that? Do you think that sometimes the family or your support system who's around you impacts how you feel, almost this pressure to be the best or to succeed? I know I was hard on my boys. I was. I mean, because to be quite honest, when they were younger, I knew that I did not have the means to get them through college financially, right? I just didn't have it at that time, right? So it's this idea that if you want to go, you have to get there some kind of way. So that's either academically, right, or through sports. And they wanted to, play sports. They were very athletic, so I said, "We'll do it." And I'm a person that I do believe that if you commit to something, you should do it to the best, right? You should be excellent. And so I wonder sometimes, do we put too much pressure on being the I mean, I know I'm competitive. I'm very competitive. And I'm like, if you get out there, it's not just for fun. We want to win. But I'm probably the person that you talk to your athletes about. So I wonder, do we put too much pressure? Do you all feel that? Did you feel that at all? Or do you feel like that happens, just generally speaking?
I think that's just life, though. I try and tell my son, this was his first year running track.
Yeah.
That boy can run, too. He got a nice glide. And that's just because he's my baby, But I'm like, it's nice with it, But he was not committed to it. And I'm like, dude, we can't, you got to be committed. So my thing is, that's life. So it's a life thing, you need to be committed to something. So I don't see it as, me being like too hard, because when life get to kicking you out there, okay, you want to have had some foundation. And so that's kind of how I see it.
No, I appreciate that. What do you guys think?
It's important, like who you're surrounded by, because some people want your dream more than you do, and they don't let you take those steps to where you fall, to where you might, but it's like, do you have that person that's in your circle that when you fall, they're gonna pick you up with no? Because listen, I went from 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th grade without losing one game. Without losing one game.
I did look you up. I looked at some stuff. Okay.
Hey, that first game that I lost, and mind you, my mother was that one, like, there ain't no crying. You crying for what? I know. Ain't no crying. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
And I think she was just that hard on us because she was so little and all. I was like 6'3". My sister 5'10". My brother 6'4". You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
and my dad was 6'6", so she had to be that. She 5'2", like
she had to be fiery.
Hey, but when she sat in that gym and I lost that first game, I bet it. But she was also right there to say, you just get up and do it again. You know? So it's important who your surrounding cast is. Very important.
No, I appreciate that. Anybody else want to add to that?
Yeah, I agree. The surrounding cast is very important. Throughout my sports career, even, when I was a youth growing up, like my dad, he encouraged me a lot. He pushed me a lot, but he wasn't that overbearing parent, forcing me or try to force me to live his dream that he didn't have. He allowed my coaches to do that for me. And, as I mentioned to you guys earlier, my career was very successful. So he allowed me to, fall and learn lessons, but while at the same time made sure that I had solid values.
Yeah,
And
that
work
balance.
ethic.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. What else want to add to that? You think that, Carlos, as a coach, you see it all the time, and and I know, you got a lot of students that came in that were really green at times, and first year in college, sometimes first generation college. So how was that making sure that they, because I know a lot of the students look to you as kind of like that guidance place if they didn't have it in their parents. So what is your take on that?
As a coach, so I coached at four different levels. So high school, AAU, I coached head coach as a JUCO coach at Delta College, associate head coach at Northwood University, head coach at Schoolcraft, and now assistant coach, director of basketball operations at Eastern Michigan. And it's all the same. Like, depending on how the way people invest in their children or how the way the conversations go, like, it's all the same. At times in which you want parents to be, of course, hard on them, continues to drive them so they can be successful. But then sometimes we don't be able to have that conversation of, when you go to college, that college within itself is a totally different language. And when we get there, we expect people, because they're talented, they have they're good at sports, whatever it may be, that we think they're great on their own. And sometimes we kind of forget that as much as you're pushing towards basketball or football, whatever that sport is, you could be pulling them away from what their true identity may be. And that happens a lot, especially now in college sports, period. It's not so much about identity and finding yourself so much in the sport now. Now it's more identity, find yourself and how much money you can make. Like, now the landscape is, instead of me giving you a call and say, hey, how you doing? I'm Coach Lowe's. I want to build a relationship with you. What can we talk about? Are you interested in coming to my university? Now it's like, hey, coach, how you doing? Listen, I need you to talk to my agent. $350,000.
Oh, really? College?
Yes.
Oh.
$350,000. If you ain't at my number, coach, I'm not coming to
VJ
visit.
missed that out. No, I'm kidding.
And so it's not so much about them finding their identity of being a athlete, but now finding their identity in how much money that they can make. And that is now another conundrum, because you have families that need this money, right, for them to be successful. But what we're not talking about is taxes. They don't have a CPA. Sometimes they have their homeboys be what they call NIL agents, and now they're getting them in bad deals. So one guy signed a $750,000 deal. He decides to transfer from the school, not knowing that he had to pay that money back because he broke the contract. So then now his new university, and it's happening, his new university will pay his way to get out of his contract, but now they're going to take more money off the back end. And so there's a lot of money flowing around, but identity is now being lost more so, because everyone, at the end of the day, everyone gets used, right? It's just how much you want to love that person to let them slide. And currently, right now, most of our young student athletes, if they don't have the guidance, they don't have the foundation, or the right people that are motivating them and encouraging them, then they're falling short. The money is good now, but tomorrow that money is gone. And those taxes will still be there. And we're not doing enough to really not just have identity conversations, but then actually getting to their next play. All right, who are you outside of your uniform? When you take your uniform, what do you become?
That's right.
Being a first-generation college student myself, it was easy for me to have some of those conversations at Delta College. And then it got a little bit tougher when I went to Northwood. And now it's extremely tough now at the Division I level, because they may be first gen, but first gen doesn't mean anything now, because we got first generation money. So why would I have to go off to the pros when the pros are actually right here in college? And so those are some of the things you face right now on a regular basis.
I did not know that already started. Okay. Wow. Ooh, okay. I know, right? Wow. Okay. Thank you. That's a whole different perspective. Did you want to add something, Josh? Yeah.
I think what's being said here, and I have this conversation with a lot of my students that I work with about competition, and we hear a lot about, well, competition's good. Well, I actually tell people competition is a process. It's neither inherently good or bad.
Oh, it's not. I've been saying that for years.
No, the environment in which competition takes place
Okay.
is what is most important. And so when I heard Ron talking, I mean, that's a great competitive environment that prepares you for other things. Now, when Carlos is talking about the new landscape of Division I college basketball, that's a competitive environment that is a significant challenge, right? So that's a whole different ballgame for especially at the Division I level, head coach, assistant coach, player development coach, to manage those things. So again, when I look at competition, it's a process, right?
I like that perspective.
But does the environment matter? Yes. Do parents matter? Yes. Have we seen youth sports events in which we lose sight of what matters? Yes, 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 yes. So that's my perspective on it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I thought I would learn something today, so I appreciate you saying that, because I am extremely competitive. I mean, anything I do, I like to be good at it, and you do need that balance, so I appreciate you sharing that.